So I'm sure many of you guys have heard that Winnie the Pooh has went into public domain. You're probably wondering why. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain why he's went into public domain, how he goes into public domain, and who's going to go into the public domain in the future. So, make sure to like and subscribe and get ready for what I'm about to discuss in this episode. So last year, Winnie the Pooh went into public domain. You're probably wondering, what was the first thing that happened with this? Well, if you clicked on this video, you probably already know. A company made a low-budget horror movie about him. Yeah, I mean, as far as the first thing to do when a character goes into public domain, it's not exactly what we expected. But, how does a character go into public domain is a question that even I had. In fact, when I first heard this, and I actually wanted to know more. So I've been doing a lot of research about the public domain, and I was wanting to share with everyone what I've learned about it. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is how exactly does a character go into public domain? Well, they are multiple reasons for it. Our first reason, which is how Winnie the Pooh went into public domain. Basically, when the story of Winnie the Pooh first debuted, that right there was when the copyright first started. And, of course, the copyright ran out in 22. And, of course, how does this happen? Well, because a law was passed where a certain amount of copyright time for each character and story would be, giving. So, this time kept on extending because of the law changing. And, well, if I remember correct, I think it's 96 years now. But it's different depending on where you live. I know in the UK and Europe it's also different rules. So I'm pretty sure it's like going to be different everywhere else. Anyway, depending on how long its last is for when that time expires, this character / story will be given to you. Well, essentially the whole world. So the whole world, anybody here can use that character and make whatever they want with it. So, Winnie the Pooh went into public domain last year, so now anybody can get their hands on him and use him. The thing is, though, they can't use Disney's version of him. They have to use the first adaptation of the character version. See, Disney added some trademarks to the character as his red shirt, as you know, the small red shirt, and probably some other things. I mean, also, another thing is Tigger. You remember Tigger, that character from the story? Well, he hasn't went into public domain yet. He goes into public domain in 2024. So, by 2024, you can use Tigger, which, as you know, is conveniently when the second sequel to the freaking horror movie comes out. Listen, I don't exactly think this was the best idea for them to go, but it exists now, so I'll have to mention it. So, now that we understand the base on how the first reason why a character go into public domain, we can understand the second reason. Now, for a certain superhero that this YouTuber here did, we know that he was a superhero that failed on comic books. He wasn't, he only did for like one issue. So, he failed and he was forgotten. When a character and story is forgotten, it automatically will go into the public domain without any legal action. So this guy right here is using this character because he can use the whole story and anything about the character. Now, things like this is a bit different for characters like Winnie the Pooh or other characters that we will talk about in a minute who will go into public domain. So that's basically the basic bit of public domain. If you want to know more information about this, I suggest checking out a few videos. Like there's this video discussing it by Film Theory, and the video I will leave in the description. So now we're going to be talking about who is going to be going into public domain. So another character that will be going into public domain, since we're on the topic of certain cartoon characters, we'll have Steamboat Willie. Well, essentially Mickey Mouse, but his first, appearance was Steamboat Willie. And how this character is going into public domain, you can only, as I mentioned before, can only use his first appearance self. So, however, aspects from the Steamboat Willie you can use. Now, I do feel like this right here might be a bit of a harder one legally, because you know how Disney is. They always want to defend what they own. So, I feel like this one right here might be having a bit more. But if Disney doesn't pull any extra strings, you can use this character for whatever you want in 2024. As, it's going to be like the same time as Tigger, but he's not really that big of a deal because he's basically a part of the Winnie the Pooh thing, so not many people is talking about him. Anyway, so, Steamboat Willie, his first story where, he was a, sailor on the boat, causing mischief, whatever you've seen in that one, you can use him now in the public domain. Now, we're going to talk about some more comic book heroes. Now, Batman is actually going to go into public domain. And when he's going to go into public domain, well, it's going to be another decade by now. It's going to be in sometime during 2030s. But I don't exactly remember the exact date. So I'll just look it up and I'll put it right here somewhere. Anyway, so when he goes to the public domain, you can, as the law goes, you can use his first adaptation, as in the comic book. There's things you can't use about him, like there will be no Alfred, they can't be no Robin, they can't be no Nightwing, they can't even be no Batmobile, they can't be no Rogues Gallery of villains, they cannot even be no Gotham City. They cannot be Arkham Asylum. Now, they actually can be Commissioner Gordon, because he was in the comics, the first one. Now, if you was to give him a car, you're gonna have to design one yourself, or just use the one he had there, which was a normal car. Now, his suit was, his first one, obviously. So, as far as doing what else was added to him for any DC other adaptations, good luck. You'll be battling the more legal rights. But his first adaptation, sometime during then, will be used. People still do fear that there would be some strings being pulled there. But time will tell. Besides, that's going to be so long from now, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, another character that will be going into the public domain, which is a superhero, is Superman. And if I remember correct, this guy is going to be going into public domain a year before Batman. And as I said, with Superman, there is still some problems just like Batman. You can't use many things, you can't, the only, superpowers you could give him would be, you can make him where he's super strong, and, I don't know, his basic superpowers, but you can't make him fly, you can't have him heat vision, you can't have x-ray vision. Basically, all his extra things. Also, you can't put his logo on his chest because that right there is considered branding. Because, another thing about public domain is there is still the trademark thing, where they have logos and things. That's how you know what you're getting in when you're buying things. Of course, that right there is a big part about a character. Anyway, so you can't use that. You basically have to have a man who is a superhero. So, I don't know, it might not even be worth it. Also, another thing that will be going into public domain is The Hobbit. The Hobbit, you can use the basic characters as in the original story, but there's still things you cannot use as usual. At this point, you probably get the idea of the public domain. Now, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts about the public domain. The question is the public domain a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it depends on who uses it. The thing is, people can do good with the public domain, but they can also do bad with the public domain. For one thing, we got a freaking horror movie about Winnie the Pooh, and that's not really what Disney or anyone else would have wanted. The thing is, you can make quite a lot of masterpieces with these characters because there's a lot of great minds out there. But I feel like the Blood and Honey movie is just a cash grab and really just a way for someone to make money off freaking crap. So, another thing to worry about is what if the people who originally make this work are forgotten? The thing is, if there's a lot of people out there making something, the original source could get forgotten. I mean, considering that that these stories was made by great people and was so successful, we do not want that to be forgotten. So that's another thing that I would like to know. But I think if people do good things with the public domain, it can be a good thing. I mean, I know myself thinking about making a character, making a movie about this character like Batman, Superman, any of them, that would be cool. I mean, we could always use a little bit of inspiration to make stories. Using a character and creating our own story for it could be a potential good thing. Also, some people overhype the whole public domain thing. I mean, they say that the character is yours. The thing is, the character still has a lot of things you can't use about it. There's still a lot of legal stuff about it. So, you can't always use it without any trouble. I mean, do you think it's going to be that easy when Mickey Mouse finally goes to public domain? I don't think it will be. I mean, it's made by Disney, so not really going to be the easiest thing to let Mickey Mouse go. But only time will tell. So we will see what will happen to these great characters that will go into public domain. Now, of course, I'm going to do a little bit of some self-promotion. So, I made a new TikTok account. I had one before, but I wanted to start over and create some new content. So, that is why I have made a new one. I currently have 2 videos on there now. And if you guys want to check it out, then I would definitely like you to follow it, so I can start making some videos. You're probably wondering what kind of videos will be on there. Mostly similar things to what I post on here, and probably some random other stuff that I think would be interesting to put on there. Here is a QR code, so you can scan it, and it takes you straight to the TikTok account. Please follow, and let me know what you think. Back to the video. I wonder what people think about the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Time to find out.
Hello everyone. Today we will talk why blood and honey should not exist. It's Winnie the Pooh, but if he was a guy who was wearing a Party City mask, creating the abomination called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. The movie was very shocking, as you can see. Now society hates this movie. And so do I. Now back to Justin.
Needless to say, this movie was terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna end off the video there. If you wanted to take anything from this video, taking a childhood character, turning it into a horror movie, not a good idea. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.